moment.
Well, just to follow up on that, you have been saying that it's imminent for some time. You guys stopped for a little bit, then you went back to it. Has there been a new warning to the Ukrainians in the last 24 hours or so? Because it seems that CNN and others are reporting that they have shared new intelligence about the threat of just how quickly an attack could happen.
We don't know what that's based on. We have been conveying, in close touch with the Ukrainians, we have been conveying that they are capable of operationalizing at any time. That has been the case. I'd also note that obviously our preference would be that President Putin doesn't further invade. And as I said a few minutes ago, what we're also assessing is that he has had to adjust, adapt to the strength of the unity of the global community, to what our reaction has been, and he has been forced to need to respond and adapt his own actions. We will see. We still very much anticipate and predict that he will invade further. But again, we're also seeing an impact on how he's behaving.
And on Nord Stream 2, last month the White House opposed an effort on Capitol Hill to put sanctions on this pipeline. Last year, of course, President Biden waived the sanctions on that, and now today he is imposing the sanctions on it, which is a pretty big shift. So can you just explain the changes and where you...
Well, we don't see it as a shift at all. We've never supported the pipeline. It was 90% built when the president took office. We've always spoken out against the pipeline. The question was, what was the most effective step in order to have the result that we have now over the last 24 hours. And there were calls by some in Congress to do preemptive sanctions on, or earlier sanctions, or take earlier steps, I should say, on Nord Stream 2. We disagreed with that strategy. We worked through a diplomatic path with the Germans. You saw the German Chancellor make the announcement yesterday, and the announcement today was complementary to that.
So the change is just because you were waiting on the Germans to take the first step here?
Well, actually, it was that we felt a diplomatic approach would be the most effective approach, and we have succeeded in our efforts, and we didn't think the alternative approach was the right one.
My last question, a French official recently told the Wall Street Journal that during his last visit, the French president found Putin was more rigid, isolated, and had basically gone into a sort of ideological and security-minded drift. The president recently spent about an hour on the phone with him. Obviously, he knows Putin pretty well. I wonder if he has seen a change in the Russian leader.
I don't have any personal observations by President Biden about President Putin to read out, but I think we all watched, including the president, the speech or read it from the other night and saw a leader who was outlining a case for war to his public, one that was based on revisionist history, and whether that's based on isolation or not, we'll leave that to others to assess. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jen.